All right, everyone, let's go. There is a lesson that most of us spend our whole lives being taught, and that is to keep your story to yourself. Don't overshare. Pain is private. But Kailyn Lowry learned the opposite at 17 on MTV's Teen Mom. I was a huge Teen Mom fan, by the way, you guys, fellow MTV girlies. And she did this during the years that most of us were figuring out how to be a person. But in the years since, she has exploded into a force to be reckoned with online. Millions of followers, three podcasts, tours, a book club business she built from scratch. I was obsessed with teen moms. So when my PR team said that I had the opportunity to meet you and interview you, I was like, yes.
I was so excited. I was a big Laguna Beach girly, like so obsessed. And so this was really a match made in heaven for me.
I know. I'm so pumped. And you don't actually live very far from New York City. You come to the city.
Yeah, about 2 hours. So we just drove up this morning, drop off the kids at school and head to New York. And then I'll be back in time for pickup. Yeah.
You're a super mom. And you're a mom of 7.
Yeah.
We literally were just saying this before we started the episode, but like, maybe it's because I'm almost 40 and I just had my first baby, but how the fuck have you had 7 kids? How has your body done that?
No, it hurts now. Like I went to bed and I asked my boyfriend, I was like, hey, is it going to rain tomorrow? Because my knees hurt.
Oh no.
So it's like, I don't know how I've had 7 children in here and then I just get up every day. Like I feel so much older.
I have, this is embarrassing. I have plantar fasciitis after having a baby. It sounds really disgusting, but it just means that the bottom of your feet hurt really bad when you walk. So when I get out of bed now, the bottom of my feet are in so much pain. And it apparently for some women is a postpartum thing that can happen after you have a baby. And out of all of the weird ass disgusting things that have happened to me, my husband takes the most offense to plantar fasciitis. I think just because of the term.
Well, I've had 7 kids and I've never heard of this. It's so weird. You learn things every single day as a mom.
Well,
everything every single day.
TikTok is a very interesting place to put your random thoughts on the internet. I know you know a lot about that, but I made a video when I was like 2 weeks postpartum. I was like, why didn't anyone tell me the bottom of my feet would hurt so bad? And the comments were like, oh my God, me too. Oh my God, me too. I was like, oh, so it's like not this weird thing. But everyone has such a weird different pregnancies and postpartums.
You need to make a TikTok about this. Like you need to be the one to make the TikTok because I think you're going to reach a lot of people who will finally feel seen.
Plantar fasciitis. Hashtag plantar fasciitis.
I think your GYN will probably appreciate that.
I think so.
What the heck? I've never heard of it.
It's so bizarre. Okay, I have questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
I typed them and I printed them out because I'm very excited. My first question, and I'm very curious about this, and I think you are brilliant, so I applaud you. When did you stop being a person who happened to be on TV and start being an operator who understood what your story was worth? Because you're still here 15 years later when most of your MTV castmates are not.
That's interesting. And I always, I have chills because I think about every day, I think my 15 minutes is up. So I think at some point... Well, I think right now,
Jillian
we live in this nostalgic, we're bringing back all the things from the 90s and the early 2000s. So I think I got really lucky there. But I think at some point it was the money from the show is going to run out. And I have children I need to provide for. What can I do next? How do I leverage what I've built in a short time so that I could prolong what I could do with this? You know what I mean? And I think that over time I just developed truly out of desperation, a business mindset where some of the other girls, and this is not a dig at them, right? I think that they just never developed a business mind, but I kind of took the contracts and the opportunities and I was like, hold up, what can I do with this? You know?
Yeah.
So, and some people love it and some people hate it. Some people, get on reality TV and they're like, I actually don't want anything to do with this. And I want to run as far away as I can. I know Bristol Palin was on Teen Mom OG for 1 season and she decided she was done and never coming back.
Yeah. It's interesting. I live with sort of a common duality of I was on TV and it made me very uncomfortable, but I also saw how much it could help me with my career. Right. Yeah. And I'm sure you feel similarly to a certain degree. You share a lot on your channels, which is very interesting and impressive to me. But what has this decision cost you? I'm curious about that. What about it makes you uncomfortable still? Does that make sense?
No. Yeah, it does. Sorry. I just was putting my phone on silent because my watch was going off. I always go back and forth about how much I'm sharing online, and I've kind of scaled back with how much I show my kids because
how much you show your kids.
Yeah. So they're not in like they used to be in like I would say a majority of my content, and now they're not because hindsight is always 2020. And so
we're learning lessons about this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and I mean I still definitely overshare. That's how I built my platform, but I don't know. I do get uncomfortable when I think about like being on TV and what the cost of being on TV has been, right? But then on the flip side of it, and I had a conversation either yesterday or the day before about like going back into the corporate world, right? And it's like I would never be able to have the flexibility in in a corporate job that I do with the life that I've built off of reality TV and then what came with that. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? Like if I went back to corporate, I wouldn't be able to take my kids to all their appointments, and with 7 kids, someone has an appointment every single day, right? So it's like
with 7, I can imagine.
plus myself. And so it's one of those things where it's like a blessing and a curse and a double-edged sword all in one. If I leave reality TV, leave the content creator world, would I even be able to provide for all 7 of my kids? So I agree with like the weird, like I don't love sharing everything about my life at this point, but I do it because I don't like this is what I built and I don't really have a choice. Like I couldn't live this lifestyle any other way.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. That's something that I think about a lot actually as somebody who's kind of on the inside of content creation. And I think that people in this space can not get a bad rap necessarily, but your followers start to be like, oh, well, like you're making so much money and like your life must be so easy. But I think that they forget that everyone pays the piper in their own way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And you getting cast onto that show when you were a child and like having a child, you may make a different decision about that at this point in your life, right? Like in hindsight, you may have made a different decision. And so your decision to like monetize this and keep it moving forward to a certain degree, and to your point, is kind of what you have to do. And it always bothers me when people like give content creators shit for that, especially people who have been in the public eye since they were young, because the reality is like what is the other like side of that coin? And I don't really know. It could be like Bristol be like, you know what, like I don't want to do this, I'm totally over it. But that means that she's comfortable with a different kind of life,
right?
Ultimately,
and for me it's not necessarily, I mean, it is financial, but for my kids, right? Like to have the flexibility and to be able to be as heavily involved in their day to day as I am, but I always say like, whether I was in the corporate world or I was a stay-at-home mom and I didn't work at all, there would be pros and cons to every single avenue. So whether it's, kind of prolonging my 15 minutes, or if I go back into the corporate world, or I go back to school, there's always going to be something to complain about, whether you're doing it publicly or not. So when people are like, oh, we'll just leave TV. One, it's not that simple. Or like leave the internet. It's like, it's not that simple, because even if the
internet is not going anywhere.
No, and they will do follow-ups for the next 10 years 100%. And still seek me out. Do you know what I mean? Because anytime I've taken a step back from like the spotlight, paparazzi comes and finds me. I'm usually pregnant, but they're like outing my pregnancies, but like they'll come find me to see where I'm at. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not that simple to just leave the internet and walk away.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about all of the businesses that you have created, because you have a very like keen mind for business, just as somebody that's looking at all your channels and understands the content flywheel and how all of that works.
Yeah.
You really are doing an exceptionally brilliant job, regardless of the content.
Yeah.
You are doing a brilliant job.
Thank you.
At operating a business within these ecosystems.
Yeah.
So take a couple of steps back, like go back to a couple of years ago when you were like first starting your podcast or whatever. And like, talk to me about that version of you.
Okay.
And when you decided to really start to lean in, because I'm very curious about that, because now like you are a very busy woman.
I don't have a choice. I have to be busy. I was laughing on the way here. I went on live on TikTok and we were talking about, I'm going on tour this summer. And so they were like, was it hard to schedule a tour around your kids? And I was like, no, because we do 50-50 summers. And so I was like talking about that. And so to your point, like, I think that growing up being like severely neglected and not having parental supervision and things like that really gave me just like a different perspective on life in general. And so at the point where I realized, okay, teen mom is at its peak, social media is at its peak, it's going to decline at some point. So I need to figure out what is my next move. And so I went to college and got my bachelor's degree in communications because I felt like that was a perfect major at the time for what I was trying to do, which was I wanted to host and I wanted to do, at the time I wanted to do radio. And so that made sense. And then Lindsay Chrisley reached out to me, I think, on Twitter. And she kind of went against everything that they were teaching at my school. They were saying, like, there's no money in podcasting. Like, it's really just like a passion project if you're going to do it. And so I was kind of apprehensive when she was like, let's do a podcast. And I was like, all right, I'll do it with you, see what happens. But in the back of my mind, I was like, it's probably going to flop. And then it didn't. And so from there, I was like, oh, like we can do this. And we started that by ourselves. Like we didn't have assistants, we didn't have production, we didn't have any of that. And so at that point, it was like, okay, if I can do this hard thing, then I can do a lot of hard things. Yeah. So I just kept doing hard things. And now I can't sit still. So it's, 3 podcasts, my podcast network, my book club. And then I haven't announced it yet, but I'm starting my imprint for publishing. So I will be an agent for publishing. And then we are opening Killer Sports, which is a physical business in Delaware. So hopefully that pops off, but we'll see.
That's amazing.
We do our best around here. I think having 6 boys has introduced us to a different side of business, which is like needing somewhere to like do all their sports and like all the things. So I was like, let's open that too.
Do you ever just turn your phone over and like lay down quietly?
No. You can't. There's always shit. Am I allowed to cuss on here? Yeah. There's always crap hitting the fan. There's always crap hitting the fan somewhere. So no.
But like, when do you make time for yourself? Or do you just not? I did a podcast yesterday. Sorry to jump.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
I did a podcast yesterday with Catherine Schwarzenegger. She's doing this like motherhood
fun.
series with a couple people. And she was like, so what are you doing for yourself right now? And I was like, nothing. I was like, I'm working many, many, many more hours a day than I should be. 3.5 months postpartum. Mm-hmm. I take care of my baby.
Right.
I'm doing nothing for myself.
Right.
But I am like desperate for some quiet time, but I just can't turn my brain off at this point.
No,
I
you
have
can't.
too many responsibilities.
If you have a new baby in your house like I do, you know that the bedtime routine makes all the difference. But figuring out what works for your kid is its own thing. It can take some time. Nobody hands you a manual, and sometimes you are just like standing there in the dark, literally guessing what to do. But that is where the Hatch Baby comes in. I love our Hatch Baby. We have had it in Nell's nursery since the day that she came home. Hatch Baby features expert sleep support, including real-time one-on-one sleep consultant chat. This is one of my absolute favorite features of the Hatch Baby. It includes milestone sleep guides, and the machine has science-backed lights and sounds. It's very cool. Every Hatch Baby also includes 6 months of this expert sleep support and premium content, which honestly is the part I didn't know I'd need until I really needed it. You see so many videos online of all of these like different opinions and advice, and the Hatch Baby and all of the educational content and support that comes with it really is all you need. For us, Hatch has been the thing that takes decisions off my plate at the end of the day. The lights, the sounds, the routines, it is just there and it works. Nellie girl is sleeping overnight some nights at 4 months old, and it is absolutely incredible. The sleep consultant chat has been so reassuring during those moments when you are convinced that you are the only person whose baby has ever done a specifically weird thing at 2 a.m. Spoiler, you are not. Hatch is in 1 in 3 nurseries and is the #1 baby registry gift, which tracks. It's the kind of thing everyone tells you to put on your list, and they're right. Hatch Baby grows with your child and supports healthy sleep routines from bassinet to big kid bed, so it's not something that you outgrow in 3 months like many other things that come with having a kid, I have learned. It's also now available in 5 dreamy colors, so there is a Hatch Baby for every nursery. Head to hatch.co/baby to shop and learn more. You can also find Hatch Baby on Amazon, Target, and Babylist registries. Again, that's hatch.co/baby to shop and get real-time sleep support. In those early postpartum days, the products that actually make your life easier are the ones that you become really loyal to really, really fast. And that has been my experience with Nuna. The gear is thoughtfully designed around your actual life, and it has intuitive features that make day-to-day stuff so much smoother, which honestly really matters most in that early newborn phase when even leaving the house feels like a project. Truly, when we were figuring out what stroller to buy, living in New York City, I had to think about ride shares and the subway and flying across the country to grandma's house and what stroller and car seat system would be the best for that. And we landed on the Nuna Swiv and, of course, the Pippa Urban car seat, which I have talked about plenty of times now. The Pippa Urban and the Swiv got us across the country to California a couple of weeks ago to grandma's house seamlessly, and I have been raving about it ever since. What I love about Nuna goes beyond the design, though. Their entire car seat line is made with FR-free materials, which means no added fire retardant chemicals. And as somebody who has spent the last decade running a wellness brand and reading every label, this is the kind of detail that matters to me when it comes to my kid. Fire retardant chemicals have been linked to a list of health concerns, and the fact that Nuna's whole line is built without them is not a small thing. It tells you what the brand actually cares for. So if you are in that new mom phase, anything that makes life easier is worth it. I definitely recommend checking out nunababy.com. Or if you want to test stuff out, you can pop into your local Nordstrom. Fun.
Like, do you feel that way?
No, yeah, 1000%. And honestly, I mean, I hyperfixate and like I went to Hobby Lobby and got some beads because I thought I was gonna bedazzle something, and
What
then
are you bedazzling?
I don't like I don't have time for myself, but when I do, I'm like, what business ideas can I come up with?
Yeah.
So
You really
it's
have
a
business
struggle.
mind.
But no, I need to turn it off though, truly.
I can't turn mine off either. So it's just it's a crazy person thing.
How do we turn it off?
I don't think you do. I actually think I have a form of ADHD.
I have that. So I'm on Adderall.
I
I might bedazzle the little pill case, actually.
I am not, but I have a friend who is a psychiatrist, and I spoke to her a couple of years ago, and she said hyperfixation actually is a form of ADHD. And when I start a business or I'm launching a product or a new whatever,
Right.
I can really go down the rabbit hole on it for just hours and hours and hours
Same.
over the course of many days.
Yeah.
And that's why so many entrepreneurs, like many of us have ADHD, because it's not this like, oh, I like am so forgetful kind of a thing. You could like get in the fucking zone,
Yes.
unlike
Yeah.
anybody else.
Truly. No, I mean, I'll show you the beads that I bought.
Show me the beads.
What did I think I was doing? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what am I doing with all these beads?
Wait, I do this all the time. I have so many random hobbies that I do for 1 hour.
But it's
and
just
then
like-
I put them in the closet for the rest of my life.
What am I going to do with them?
I don't know. I had a
fine.
bead box during COVID that looked exactly like that bead box.
Well, then I was like, maybe I should do needlepoint. I'm seeing needlepoint everywhere.
Oh, I'm also a needle
Oh,
pointer.
perfect. Should I start?
It's really relaxing.
Okay, well,
I started
need to
it
do it.
during my most recent IVF round, and it really helped me. But my mother-in-law is a big needle pointer. So
okay.
when I got married, she was like, oh, have you ever done needlepoint? And she like showed me how to do it and taught me, and it was so fun. But I have said, I will admit that even my needlepoint is like in the closet right
oh,
now.
yeah. Of course, that's how ADHD is, for
Yeah.
sure. No, I get that.
I need to bring it back
Yeah.
out of the closet.
Yeah.
But now I'm
Not.
too busy.
Yeah, you're like, I have a new product and I have a baby, so maybe not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Are we allowed to talk about
Everything
your
you
baby
want.
daddies?
Yeah,
your
all of them,
kids?
everything.
I
It's
don't wanna
fine.
Make you uncomfortable.
No, it's fine. I will literally talk about anything. Anything.
You live next door to one of them.
Yeah.
Walk me through Tuesday. What happens when you see his car pull in?
Nothing. So the way that we share a driveway, you like pull into the right and the driveway splits. So it's not like a neighbor down the street. It's not a neighbor 3 houses over. We share a driveway.
So you can't like see into the living room.
No, he
next
can
door?
see out of his kitchen window. He can see everything that goes on. So
Oh.
he has texted me and said like, hey, so-and-so fell on the trampoline. And I'm like, can you not? You know what I mean? But it makes it convenient for drop-offs, or like if he ever needed something last minute, it makes it super convenient.
Yeah.
Yesterday, my kids were playing outside and they were like, hey, like the babies want to see you. And so I just texted him like, hey, like, is it true the babies want to see me? I don't want to intrude. And then I just like walked up the driveway to go see them. So
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
nice.
it's a blessing and a curse.
Well, you had like a very uncomfortable, not pseudo breakup because you guys were already broken up, but like kind of breakup conversation with Elijah on your Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk me through
Yeah.
like your decision tree
Mhm.
to be like, I'm going to do this on Patreon?
Yeah. Well, so the way that I found out about him cheating was obviously upsetting. I was in LA working
Wasn't
and
it like on TikTok?
yeah,
or
it was on
something?
TikTok.
Oh my God.
And so I had my assistant at the time tell him he needed to move out before I got home on my red eye. And so then he moved out, and thankfully the tenants because when we were together, he put his house up for rent. So the tenants had moved out 2 weeks before, and it really, yeah, truly like the stars aligned for that one. And so he moved out, and then I don't really know what the timing was. I'm so used to just being very like quick to respond to things, and sometimes prematurely, and sometimes I don't have all the facts, and sometimes like I'm really emotionally charged. And so for the Elijah episode on the tell all, it was 3 parts. On Patreon, it was like, okay, well, everybody at this point has capitalized, gained money, gained followers talking about this situation, and the person, the creator that started it all on TikTok, I was like, well, we might as well put our side out there too. And so at that point it was like, well, we'll put it on Patreon. And so I didn't put it on my regular podcast feed because I was like, the people who are invested in our lives will, unfortunately for them, will pay for it. And they did. So it was really successful.
Get your back.
Had to. I'm like, everybody else is profiting off of my pain, so why wouldn't I profit off of my own pain?
I'm surprised that he agreed to do it though. Or were you not surprised by that? Like if I was him, I would not have walked into that room. I would be too afraid to do that. Yeah. If I was cheating on my wife.
Yeah. I had asked him like a couple months before that. I actually asked the girl to come on the podcast, but she never responded. And I'm not surprised he agreed to it, to be honest.
I guess you share children. So like
it was already
if you
out
make money
there.
off of it, like your children benefit from that.
Yeah.
You can think about it like that.
I also think that like overall, while I do think that he made poor decisions, I think that overall he's a good person. And so I think it was his way of like apologizing or like owning it. That's my theory. He's never said that, but that's my theory.
Okay.
So this past Sunday was my first Mother's Day as a mom, and it was a very strange and beautiful kind of thing. I was nervous leading up to it, but it was a really good day because you spend your whole life on one side of that holiday and then suddenly you're on the other side. And for some of us, we're still kind of figuring out what that means. But what it taught me is that the people who give comfort all year long, who hold a home together in the small, invisible ways, they really deserve to be cared for too. And that's what Cozy Earth feels like to me. We have Cozy Earth all around our house. The bed, the robes, everything. But the Cozy Earth robes are the kind of thing that you put on and immediately exhale. They are soft with spacious pockets, adjustable ties, silhouettes you can actually move in. Whether you're going for plush, quilted waffle, or a stretch knit, it is the version of downtime at home that actually feels like a pause in your day instead of one more thing. I'm very much into the plush Cozy Earth robes right now. And the slippers. Very specific kind of comfort in slipping your feet into something soft after a long day. And the shirling and the footbeds genuinely feel like a small act of care every time you put them on. It's very embarrassing, but I have plantar fasciitis after having a baby. Apparently, it's like kind of a common postpartum symptom. And these Cozy Earth slippers just make my feet feel so much happier. Everything Cozy Earth comes with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty, which says a lot about how confident they are in what they're putting out into the world, because comfort like this should last as long as love does. So whether you're treating yourself or sending something to the woman who makes everywhere feel like home, head to cozyearth.com and use my code GOODMOM for an exclusive 20% off. That's amazing, you guys. And if you see a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Tell Me I'm a Good Mom, because home starts with mom. So recently, as you may or may not know, I had a baby and I have been deep in my postpartum recovery. And the honest truth is that your hormones and your iron and your thyroid, all of it goes through the ringer after you give birth. And nobody really tells you what's happening inside. As a wellness founder, I have access to a lot of expert information, but I still wanted to actually see what was going on in my blood, not just guess based on how tired I felt that day, and I have been tired. That's why I'm very excited about our partner, Rhythm. Rhythm is the world's easiest blood test to help you learn what's happening inside your body. You take it in 2 minutes at home, no needles, just a sleek, painless collection device you peel and stick on your arm. I have done it. I love it. You draw a small sample, you mail it to their lab, and you get results back in around 3 days. With old school testing, you'd maybe drive to a lab once a year for a single snapshot and then forget about it. But with Rhythm, you can test every month. You track movement in over 30 biomarkers spanning cholesterol, inflammation, hormones, and metabolic health. I did my first Rhythm test recently, as I said, and I cannot tell you how nice it was to skip the lab. The kit shows up, you draw your sample in 2 minutes, you mail it back, and the results were live in 2 days. The portal is so easy to read, and they even have an AI health coach that walks you through what your numbers actually mean and what to do about them. And what I learned was a lot. I have a lot of things that I can be working on, which explains the exhaustion I have just been writing off as newborn life and postpartum. What I loved most was how quickly I got the results and how clear the recommendations were. I didn't have to call an office or wait 2 weeks for someone to tell me that my numbers were fine when actually some things could use some tweaks. So by testing my blood monthly, I'm watching how the changes I'm making actually move the needle. Next, I'm really going to be focused on my iron, my thyroid, my hormone recovery overall. Rhythm is only $79 per month. It is a fraction of traditional lab testing. It ships right to your door and you can cancel anytime. Right now, Rhythm is offering our listeners 15% off your first month and free shipping at rhythm.health/goodmom. That's Rhythm with 1H, rythm.health/goodmom for 15% off your first month and free shipping. Stop guessing and start testing. Rhythm.health/goodmom.
I have a baby daddy speed round.
Oh, okay.
1 word each.
Oh, God.
Joe.
Regular?
Nice.
Right. Nice. That's the nicest thing you could have possibly said about him. That's regular. Yeah. Yeah.
Bobby.
Oh, 1 word. He's good. He's good.
Nice.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. We won't complain about him.
Chris.
Help.
Okay.
Send help.
Send help. That's
Send
2
help
words.
with no, just help. SOS. SOS is my word for him.
Okay, fine. Fair. I'll accept it. Elijah.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. That one's smooth. That one's, we do not argue about the kids. I will say Javi and Elijah, and honestly, Joe, we do not fight about the kids. Like, we fight about everything but the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Elliot's about to be, he's 16, he's driving, he's doing all the things. I don't really have to communicate with Joe. That's why I say he's regular. He's kind of like a moot point at this time in our co-parenting journey.
Regular.
Yeah, he's regular. Javi and I, we are email only and we schedule phone calls if we need to talk. And that really keeps things streamlined. It prevents crossing boundaries. It prevents anything not being in writing, confusion, things like that. So that one's easy. We split everything financially down the middle. Chris is a lost cause. So I really just try to not speak to him at all if I don't have to. And then Elijah's my neighbor, so I have to get along and keep the peace there. So I'll do, pretty much whatever it takes just to keep the peace for the kids.
Yeah. You went on Lala's podcast and you said that you leave because you take no shit.
Yeah.
What is the signal to you that it's over? Except for very obvious. You're like, okay, Elijah cheated on me. Bye.
That one was tricky because, like I said, I think that he's a good person and he made a bad choice. But I had just gotten out of a relationship. Creed was 2 when I got pregnant with Rio. So I was with Chris on and off for 5 years. And that was just a constant cheating situation. Oh. And I stayed. And then I got a lot of crap for staying and going back and staying and going back. And so then this time I'm like, I left Joe for cheating on me while I was pregnant. I left Javi for just simply not getting along with him. I left Chris finally for after 5 years of the back and forth that I just didn't want to go through this again. Like, I want a partner and a relationship where like we build each other up and we're not arguing about cheating, and that's not part of our relationship. So as soon as cheating became another, like it was like a pattern at that point, I was like, I can't do this. I'm done. Like, I cannot go back.
Okay, Ike, don't cheat on this woman.
That was actually the one. So I've known Ike since high school.
Don't make me call your cell phone
Yes.
after today and say, what have you done?
That was the one thing I said was like, if we don't break up, like if we break up or we don't work out for whatever reason, I said, just please don't let it be cheating. Like that was like the one thing that I'm like, please don't do that.
Wait, you guys have known each other since high school?
He went to high school with Joe.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
How did you reconnect? Facebook?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so we would just like stay in touch like out throughout the years. And so then at one point when Elijah cheated, I needed to go on a red carpet. And I was like, hey, how tall are you? And that's how it all so that's how it all started. It worked out.
It was more like, hey, I forget how tall you are.
Like, can you just remind me? Because I wanted to make sure he was taller than me because I was going to get my lick back. You know what I mean? Like go on a red carpet with someone.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Let me show up with a tall, handsome man.
No, I was being dramatic.
Can we talk about your book club?
Yes, of course.
Tell me about your book club.
Okay,
so you're obviously a very big reader,
but not always.
But like when you have just the time to read.
Yeah, so it really started on planes. So I would start like reading novels when I was traveling a lot, and at the time I was going to LA like once a week. So it was the 24-hour turnarounds. That's a 6-hour flight for me. So I started reading on planes, and then COVID hit, and I was like, okay, I really want to go to law school, so I'm just like reading a lot. And so,
wow, Kim K.
Yeah, I'm trying one day, maybe when the twins go to kindergarten. So I don't remember exactly how like the book club got started, but I was like, surely I can turn this into like a business, something I love, like a passion project, because I didn't make money at first. And then when I put it on Patreon, that's where it like really started actually generating income for me.
Yeah.
And from there, I got to do like Colleen Hoover and Frida McFadden has come on the podcast. So that's been really cool. Yeah. And then my publisher reached out and was like, do you want to do like an imprint with us where you act as the agent and bring us talent and it would be your logo on the books.
That's so cool. I was going to ask you, like, what the fuck is an imprint?
Yeah.
That is.
Okay, yeah. So it would be like...
You're basically identifying talent.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, this is who I want to bring in.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so essentially the same as like what Podcast One does for me with my podcast network. They kind of back it. So it would be the same sort of situation with the publishing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so
cool. And I absolutely, like... I'm always reading. I brought my Kindle on the way here.
I was going to ask Kindle or real books?
Both. But
I feel like people are either one or the other.
So, and I'm also an audio girly. So I do all three. Usually I have one on my Kindle, one in a physical copy, and one audio at all times.
Okay.
So, but because my kids are still young and they always want to sleep in my room, I can't have the lights on while they're trying to sleep. So that's why the Kindle is important at night.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it. My husband got me a Kindle a few weeks ago.
You should use it.
Yeah.
Do you read a lot?
I am trying to read more.
Okay.
I used to be a mega reader.
Oh, really?
And when I started my business 10 years ago, I stopped reading as much because I just
There's no
had
time.
less time. Yep. And also that's when social media really picked up and I started just my phone addiction as everybody does.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to really change some of my habits in that regard because again, like I am seeking out time for myself just so that I can like heal and be mentally well and move on.
Yeah.
You know, from pregnancy and childbirth and all of this stuff. So I'm just started this book called Monk and Robot, which is actually, it's sci-fi and gosh, I forget the author's name right now, but it's like two of her books combined into like one actual like physical paperback.
Okay.
So you read both of the things and like it's sci-fi, it's like a pseudo Earth and the robots left and went into the jungle.
I was giving like iRobot.
Kind of, yeah.
Did you read Project Hail Mary?
No.
Oh, if you like sci-fi, you would love Project Hail Mary. I haven't seen the movie yet, but
interesting. Yeah,
I loved that book.
I like anything dystopian, sci-fi, all of that. So, oh my God, will you text me your
Yeah.
list after
Oh,
this?
absolutely will. I'm big dystopian girly.
Because I go to Barnes and Noble and I'm like, I want something interesting, but then I stare at the wall and I'm just like, which one do I pick?
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have Chapter 7 book club now, so I can write it off on taxes because it's becoming to the point where it's like, can't go anywhere without buying books. And it's like, I already have a TBR that's 300 books long, so.
I'm going to have to become a paying member of your book
Actually, we could just co-host. Just do it and we'll just co-host.
That would be fun.
That would be so fun.
That would be so fun.
Would be. That would be.
I'll have to actually commit to reading.
Yeah, and go interview authors over at Union Square Barnes & Noble.
That's such a good idea.
Actually, make an acting debut. Honestly, just do a book to movie adaptation. You would be great. You should have played Verity.
Girl, I
Like,
make,
just
I make
adding.
vitamins for a living.
Oh, I actually, okay. That's great because I was looking at your website and I'm like, okay, I really need to start. I asked ChatGPT
Yeah.
to put together a vitamin regimen for me. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that next.
Did it tell you Love Wellness Good Girl Probiotics is what you need for
Yeah, it
vaginal
absolutely
health?
did. Exactly.
We actually rank pretty good on AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to try them.
In fact, I was slacking my team right before this, and I was like,
really?
oh, I should have brought Kailyn products.
That's okay. That's okay.
God.
We'll do a swap. I'll send you stuff. You send me
Yeah,
stuff. It'll be a day.
I'll send you a bunch of stuff. Okay, one more question. What do you know at 34 that the 17-year-old on that MTV show would never have believed?
About TV or just like life in general?
Dealer's choice.
Oh, well, one, screenshots live forever. We didn't know that when we started Teen Mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like the
wow,
screenshots
yeah.
and all the things. And then in just like in life, I think is that like, wow. Well, parenting doesn't get easier. The challenges just change, right? Like, so like the newborn is really, really hard. I didn't have a good time from birth to one, right? But then like teenagers are hard too in a different way. So the challenges are still there. They're just very different. And no one warns you. Everyone was like, you're a pregnant teen or you're a young mom or you have all these, but nobody's talking about 10 years from now. Like how does parenting change 10 years from now? And that's really challenging. Like you have 18 summers to get them together to be a productive member of society. And nobody was talking about that. They were just talking about feeding the baby and changing the diapers.
Yeah. That's a very interesting perspective because I'm very much in that space right now.
Yeah. And it took me nobody also told me that it will take, I think the older you get, it takes longer. But when I was a younger mom, I got my pink back a lot sooner. Where now that I'm 34, like the twins they're almost 2.5. I'm just now finding like my pink back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that when I was younger, I got it back much, much sooner. Do you feel like that?
I feel so overwhelmed with how my body has changed and like underwater about that I almost wish that I could be pregnant again just so that I could like ignore the current state of my body.
What about...
Does that make sense
No,
to you?
it completely does. It completely
and like
makes
I
sense.
hate my body so much right now
I
that
hear
like
you.
maybe I should just try to have another baby.
I literally have chills because...
just so that I can ignore like the current meat suit.
Well, because I think it's like how you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror impacts everything.
Yeah.
It literally changes the way you view the entire world, in my opinion. Like that's been a struggle for me. That's part of the reason why I've gotten plastic surgery and been open about that. It's like a lot of that stemmed from motherhood and how motherhood shaped my body.
Yeah, if this C-section shelf hangs around, we will be getting the tummy tuck.
I just got a scar revision, so that's also an option where it's not a full-blown tummy tuck. I had a C-section scar and then my old tummy tuck scar, and then they were able to pull the old tummy tuck scar down to my C-section scar.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's also an option. Just food for thought.
Yeah, I first have to decide if we're going to have another baby or not.
Okay.
And then I will attack.
Would you ever move back to am I allowed to ask you questions?
Yeah, of course.
Would you ever move back to California?
Yeah, we totally would. Yeah. My husband and I love New York, but it's really hard to have a kid in the city. We have, like many people, not been stunned by that realization, but when you actually live it, you're like, oh man, this is really hard.
Yeah.
And our dollar can go a lot further in other places. I think
sure.
That's just the reality of the situation here. So we're thinking about it. Like we love California. My family is there. We love Miami. We love it here, So I think we're just trying to figure out what does the next 5 years of our life look like. And if we didn't stay in New York, where's the next place? That next place, that decision scares me, but my husband keeps reminding me we could try out any place for 1 year. Just because you move doesn't mean that you have to commit to it forever. It doesn't mean that you're buying a house. Like you just like go on an adventure.
Yeah.
And you just go try it out. And that is like what life is really all about ultimately at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I don't have that luxury because I have 4 baby dads that I have to go through a court system for. But when you're with, not all 4 of them, I'm being dramatic, mainly just Chris, but to your point, like because you're with your husband and you have this child together, you kind of have endless possibilities when it comes to moving. Where like I have to apply to relocate a year before we plan to move.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you've been thinking about this For a while.
Yeah. And then I'll file with the court in January.
Does it affect like does your custody arrangements with everyone like reflect each other? Do you always
They're all
have
the same.
all the kids? Okay,
Yep,
so that
so-
makes it a lot easier.
When I originally started, 2 of the dads had 50-50. And so tried to keep them together because I want that. I do value one-on-one time a lot, but I also wanted them to be together as much as possible. So the weeks that I have everybody, I have everyone. And the weeks that I don't, now it's hard because 2 of them don't live in Delaware. So I do have 3 kids 90% of the time, which is fine. And so we just make it work. And then it's just really the one order that, for me to move out of the state, I'll have to go to court for.
Yeah. Well, bravo. I'm very impressed by you.
Doing my best.
Where can listeners of this show find you?
Yeah.
They probably already follow you.
I don't know if your audience does.
Maybe not.
I'm
Is
everywhere.
Your audience like a younger audience?
We're like 18 to 40.
Oh, okay.
So probably similar to you.
Mine is more like 35 to 45.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, there's like exceptions to that
Yeah, of
rule,
course.
obviously.
Of course. Well, I'm all over. I'm on all the platforms, Kailyn Lowry or Chapter 7 Book Club.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.